Well, hey everybody, it is Romania Black, and we're not quite ready for Natsume Season 5 yet. We've got two OVAs to look at, and I have double checked because when I pulled up this OVA that we're going to watch today, it came after Crunchyroll had it listed after Season 5, and I was like, but the moderators said to watch it before season 5, so that's what we're gonna go with. Now, what I think it is, and don't tell me, but we'll find out after season 5. What I think it is that it's something that is gonna connect to season 5, but it happens before season 5, and so that's why we're watching it. But the other OVA was not listed on Crunchyroll, and we're gonna watch that next week. So maybe I have these reversed, and we should have watched this one next week. Who knows? Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and watch it, so that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna talk about it. But I'm excited to get some OVAs for Natsume to finish out February. That seems like a legit thing to do. But I also want to talk about not only a comment from Sunspots in relation to episodes 9 and 10, aka 48 and 49 of Natsume, but also want to talk about volume 9 of the manga, because we're now getting into season 4 content in the manga, and I'm so excited to talk about it. So, Sunspot said, for episodes 48 and 49, I have a hilarious / broken Skate the Infinity connection to present. So if you've not watched Skate the Infinity, go do that because it's so good. But also, apparently, with the episodes 48 and 49 are the episodes where we have our two gay deities that Natsume and Notori work to free and protect. And so Hozuki, which is one of them, his voice actor in the original Japanese sub is Hikaru Midorikawa, who also does the voice of Cherry from Skate the Infinity. And then Fuzuki, who is the other deity, their voice actor in the English dub is Jonah Scott, who also does Joe in the English dub of Skate the Infinity. So there may be a language barrier, but the ship lives across universes. Which I think is so amazing. There's been another anime that I've watched where that exact same thing has happened, where the Japanese voice actor of a ship pairing and the English dub voice actor for a ship pairing, they both are connected. So I think that that's so cool. I love that. But anyway, so let's talk the volume 9 information from the manga, because I read that this morning. And yeah, so as I said when I started season 4, episodes 1 through 3, 5, and 8 of season 3 were not covered in the manga for season 3. So I was like, well, maybe they'll show up in the manga for season 4 and be sprinkled in, or maybe they're anime only. As of volume 9, they're still anime only, because volume 9 covers legit content of season 4. And surprisingly, covers content that is pretty on the nose with how season 4 starts. Volume 9 covers the contents of episodes 1 and 2, which we'll talk about, episode 3, which I'm super surprised about, and then episode 5. So we're going to skip episode 4's content and talk about those 3. But yeah, I was like, oh, we're covering season 4 right off the bat. Okay, cool, volume 9. I also love volume 9's cover. I love the concept that Midorikawa, which funny that the voice actor for Kozuki has the same last name as them. But I love, or maybe it's the same first name. Anyway, regardless, I do love the concept that this mangaka does, where they take floral prints of contrasting patterns and layer them over the top of each other. It never looks gaudy, and it always looks so interesting. Like we have Natsume wearing this beautiful chrysanthemum, like Merlot colored kimono with the big burst of flowers that are white and Merlot that are gorgeous. But then he's sitting on this kimono that has golden flowers against a black background. It's just beautiful, and I would never have imagined those colors. And then you have the black that lines Natsume's kimono underneath. Just gorgeous, stunning. I love it. And then, of course, he's sitting on Madara, which I love this cover. It's just really, really nice for volume 9. So we have two covers that start out. The cover on the inside is Reiko with a lily pad. And I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead and show you the contrast, because I thought it was really cool in volume 9, because our volume 9 starts out with this image of Reiko with her staff that has kind of like it looks like the funeral. It always makes me think of Heaven Official's Blessing and the kind of like the funeral the funeral paper, like strings that go off of it. I don't know exactly what the term for it is, but it reminds me of that. And so there's a character in Heaven Official's Blessing that is very tied to ghosts and funerals and carries a staff with the same sort of thing. But Reiko has that on the lily pad. And I'm going to jump ahead and show you that there is also later on a volume cover or chapter cover thing that shows Natsume carrying a shorter stick with the same thing. And I thought that was really cool. Also, I love the bullseye target on the paper with the two arrows going side by side. This is correlating with the chapter with Matoba. It seems like two arrows crossing each other. Seems fitting. Also, I kind of love that Natsume has the shirt with Madara on the side, but the way that Madara is placed, it reminds me of Notori and the gecko yokai that is on his skin. There's some correlation there that I think is so cool, and I love the way that Natsume looks in that opening there. He looks a lot more mature, right? But going back to the beginning of Volume 9, for Chapter 32, which is where this volume starts, we have Natsume with the lantern, and then we have Madara. We have the yokai on there, on the chapter cover there. It's a really good chapter cover. I love Mitsuru kind of there behind the scenes, looking over the stairwell. Really, really cool. I like it. So our character guide features Nyanko-sensei, features Natsume, and then features Matoba, which is where we start out this volume. And he harbors a grudge against the yokai, as we find out because of his family legacy, right? And then we get the story in the Book of Friends. But honestly, where this volume starts at is episode 3, with the little ones, with the fuzzy little gremlins. I was convinced that this was an anime-only episode. I was convinced that it was anime only. Not only is it in the manga, it is 2 whole chapters, which the Natsume chapters are fairly long. So I was like, oh, wow, we actually had an entire episode devoted between 2 chapters of the manga. That is crazy. And it's not anime only. I was honestly surprised. Will say they are adorable. They are just as cute in the manga as they are in the anime, which is a lot of fun. So we get our first editorial on the side. The column says, "Hello, I'm Midori Kawa. This is my 17th total graphic novel and the 9th for Natsume. I get so excited and embarrassed and happy when I see my books lined up at the bookstore. I like to thank the readers who decided to pick this up and the editors who have patiently stuck with me the whole way. I'll keep putting everything I have into my work, so please continue with your support." Love it. Love it. Also, I want to point out that with this chapter 33, which is the second half of the little ones, I love a couple things about this chapter cover. One is the Nyanko-sensei like lantern that looks really creepy by Natsume while he's lounging there. But also the fact that the deity that is the leader of, or the ones that the little ones kind of fight against, it looks so creepy slithering under the boardwalk there. Yeah, Natsume still manages to be creepy even though it has a lot of cuteness to it. The second editorial, 1/4 column, says, "I'm talking about this space here in the graphic novels. Now in my 17th volume, I wonder what more I could write about. I wish there were some interesting incidents, but my life is really simple and casual. If you have any requests or any topics you want to know about, send me a note. C-listers. I totally missed the window in which I could have given them names. I hope that I can sneak in a situation where they can introduce themselves." Okay. All right. And so then we have the third editorial here, which is at the end of the Little Ones chapter, in which Natsume kind of is like, "I can't let the Book of Friends fall into the wrong hands." And I'm like, we keep going back to that topic, and the more you say it, the more worried I get. But they say, "Kitty merchandise. There have been more opportunities to produce Nyanko-sensei merchandise. It's been a real blessing. I've been so meticulous in the design of these items. Amazingly enough, they turned that ugly, creepy cat into little mascots emanating an adorable aura. I can't believe my heart could go pitter-patter for Nyanko-sensei. I won't let him get the better of me." I feel like Midori Kawa has the same views of Nyanko-sensei as the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen has for Gojo, which is really funny, right? Speaking of adorable, my readers sometimes send me their handmade versions of Nyanko-sensei. I've made a box styled like a traditional Japanese room and named it the Kitty Box, which is now full of all these cute little kitties that traveled from their various homes. It is truly my treasure box. Love that. I mean, Nyanko Sensei is very marketable. It's such a simple design, but it also, you can make it super cute, aka the one sitting on my shelf. So, chapter 35 is where we get the Matoba story arc, which is the one with, which is where season 4 starts out in the anime. Which honestly, I understand now why they started season 4 out with this storyline versus the Little Ones. The Little Ones is a really cute storyline and I like it, but it's not really like season opening worthy. So it makes sense that we go with the Matoba storyline because that one's a lot more dynamic. Also, Matoba is so threatening. I hate the fact that you can see like the blade coming down through the kimono and the umbrella on top, showing how you can't quite trust what Matoba is doing. So then the fourth editorial column, the kitty paw pads. When they were creating the character sheets for the anime, some minor design changes from the manga were necessary. They took the pains to go over every single one with me when I met with the director and the staff. I knew I could trust them completely and felt comfortable letting them do whatever they felt was necessary. But they were very concerned about my opinions, which was touching. One memorable example was the question of whether they could have one less toe bean on Nyanko Sensei's paw. I was astonished. They were actually going to bother drawing in the paw pads on such a short, tiny moving legs. It made me happy they were so concerned over something so small as one fewer toe bean. I decided that 3 toed paw pads on the edge of the page was working at the time to try it out. And now I think of this every time I draw Sensei's paw pad. These tiny little differences between the anime and the manga are so endearing. I think that's super cute. I love the concept that, I also love that it shows the anime takes a lot of dedication in not only paying attention to what the author wants, but also every fine little detail in the anime. It makes it a lot more richer and shows they care, which translates on the screen, right? So that's really super cute. So anyway, there were a couple little additional things with the Matoba chapters that I wanted to point out with you all. First of all, some of the inclusion of the simian yokai gets a little bit, it gets added in the anime. Like, for example, and then some corners are cut. Like in the anime, I believe Natsume like tries to sneak around without Matoba noticing him and he gets caught anyway. Here in the manga, Matoba is going down the staircase and he can look in the mirror and see Natsume there. And maybe that happened in the anime, but I felt like it was different in the manga than the anime, so I thought that was worth pointing out. Another thing was, whenever Natsume and Madara are talking, he says, I'm glad that we never told Notori about the Book of Friends. I might have put him in danger. And then Madara says, he obviously looks like a guy you shouldn't talk to. And it shows Notori with the sparkles and everything. I was like, oh my God. Which Madara is like, you know, stranger danger. He's an adult. You're a kid. He doesn't need to be. Which someone had commented around the end of, I think it was the episodes that I just talked about at the beginning with the 2 deities and Notori, and suggesting that Notori should back off of Natsume because he's an adult and Natsume's still a kid. And I totally agree. I don't want anybody in the comments thinking that I'm rooting for Notori getting with Natsume now, because there is a clear age difference and it's one that does bother me. And I've talked about that at length in the discussion. But I am all for when Natsume is like mid-20s, if things don't work out with Tanema, and he finds Notori and it works out, I'm all for that then, because he'll be mature and it'll be fine. But for right now, no, Notori needs to back off a little bit. And Madara kind of says as much. But speaking of backing off, there's also Matoba in this scene saying, you know, fate keeps brushing us together. We need to find him and catch him. And I'm like, I feel like Notori at least knows where the line is. And Notori, even if he likes Natsume, understands that age difference and how important it is. Again, like I said in the discussions, it reminds me of a Sarune character who is a mentor to one of the protagonists, and there is a clear age difference there. And he's like, and you can tell he's like, okay, there's a line, not going to cross it. Matoba seems perfectly willing to cross that line, and it bothers me. But yeah, so another thing that is confirmed that I was questioning in episode 52, the end of season 4, that gets confirmed in the manga. And I was like, oh, ho ho. Or supposedly it is confirmed based on, I guess, what Nanase has researched and told Matoba, is that Matoba asks Natsume, he's like, what was Reiko like? And Natsume's like, I don't know. And then he says, I'm an exorcist. I'm interested with those in power, or in those with power. And Natsume's like, interested? And he's like, yes. And then he says, what about your mother? She must have been quite powerful as well. Which is confirming that Natsume's mom is Reiko's daughter. And I was like, oh, okay. So the manga basically confirms that Nanase's done her research and passed it off to Matoba. And she's like, Natsume's mother is Reiko's daughter, which is interesting to me because Reiko's got the blonde, strawberry blonde hair, and then Natsume's dad has the strawberry blonde hair, but Natsume's mom has the dark brown hair, which is like, okay, all right, cool. Okay, so Natsume's mom was into somebody that had the same hair color as her mom. Okay, cool. But Natsume then says, no, they say she was quiet and normal and kind. And Matoba says, I see, not even her daughter inherited her power. So apparently Natsume's mother is Reiko's daughter, but she didn't have any connection with the yokai, and so it just skipped a generation and went to Natsume, which a lot of people say things skip generations, like whatever your grandparents have might skip your parents and go to you. So there's that. People, and it says people who can see are rare. And he says, more so, the more powerful they are. And then he asks him to join the clan. So we get confirmation through the manga, supposedly, allegedly, through Matoba, that Natsume's mother is the daughter of Reiko. Which is interesting because that suggests that his mom was a Natsume, and then the dad married into her family. Okay, we'll go with it. So editorial number 5, letters. Thank you so much for the fan mail. I cherish and read every single one. I also want to yell out loud, what should I do with so much delight? They provide me with and keep a driving force to keep going. I apologize, I never have enough time to write replies. I'll keep working hard to make the manga that would convey my gratitude. Thank you so much. And that's the end of the editorials for this week, which is crazy. But here's the other thing with the Matoba chapters. And I don't think this was illustrated in the anime, and it made me really worried when I read it. But Matoba says he was oddly concerned about his bag, what was inside. According to one who took a look, there was a notebook of some kind. A notebook. Yes, it said book of something. So Matoba is like this far away from knowing that there is the Book of Friends, which is highly concerning to me, especially because we spent a lot of season 4 not focusing on Matoba after that. We had the episode with Nanase, episode 8, but other than that, this was the last time we saw Matoba, and it's one of those scary things in a series where when you don't see an antagonist, it can be sometimes more concerning than when you do. So I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So then we have this part here where Natsume, I don't think this was in the anime either, but Natsume is getting ready for the festival and he gets to wear Shigeru's yukata. Maybe it was in the anime and it's just been a long time since I've seen the first of season 4. But I think it's super cute. And I love how Shigure is like, you'll grow into it. By next year, it'll fit perfectly. And Natsume's like, it's so cute. And then I love at the very end, we have Natsume running up to Tanama and Nijimura as well as Kishimoto, and they're all in the yukatas. It's super cute. I think that's adorable. I love it. I love it. You can kind of see that the yukata doesn't quite fit Natsume. Super, super adorable. I love it. So then, another thing I'm super excited about. We skipped the contents of episode 4, so we'll see next week if we get back to that. But I thought it was super adorable that we got confirmation that the special episode that Yuriko is not anime only. She is in the manga, which means she could show up again. Yes! So she's in the manga. It's a special episode at the end of volume 9. And it does confirm that everything that happens in episode 5 happens in this special chapter. So I was so excited about that. I was like, yes, because I was afraid that the Yuriko stuff was all anime only. It is not. And I was like, yay. But anyway, and so then we have the idea of, the end of that special episode, and we see Natsume go from not having any friends, not feeling like the yokai or humans accept him, and leaving Yuriko, to having that interaction with the Fujiwaras. So then we have the afterword. The end of volume 9 says, "Thank you for reading. How'd you like it? Please read this afterword at the end to avoid spoilers. Natsume used to handle everything by himself because he didn't want to bother anyone. But now he's going to encounter some things beyond his ability. He kept avoiding the issue of relying on others, but I hope to give him the strength and courage to face it." So in the afterword, chapters 32 and 33 were little ones. I decided it was about time to draw something cute and thought it would be fun to have an onslaught of fluffies. I feel lonely somehow when I draw Natsume and Nyanko-sensei alone together, which I hadn't experienced in a while. I only realized after I started the work with how difficult it was to depict growing affection towards a creature that doesn't talk or even show any emotion. It was nerve-wracking. But I also got to draw a 2-page spread, so I had fun even though it was a tough overall. Then chapters 34, 35, and 36 were the Eastern Forest. I suspect that it's getting harder for Natsume to keep secrets. He doesn't particularly need to announce to people what he can see, but his dilemma is that the lies are snowballing. It's a big deal for him that he has Taki and Tanema who are there to listen to the truth. This episode made Natsume even more leery of exorcists, but I think it'll get him to start thinking seriously about what to do with himself and about Reiko, about whom he assumed there wouldn't be anything nice to hear. I think that that's interesting too, because yeah, clearly Reiko has a past, and clearly Reiko knows a lot of people, not just yokai. So I like this idea that the Matoba episodes are going to get Natsume to possibly consider learning about her, because before he didn't want to hear about her because she's kind of a reflection of him, that she could see yokai. So if people only thought negative things about her, you know, what does it say about Natsume? But I mean, the idea that she had a spouse and a daughter suggests that there was some love there. We would like to think, maybe, possibly, unless this series gets really dark. So I like the idea too that Natsume is having to think of the future and moving forward and what he's going to do with the exorcists, etc. Blah blah. Special episode 9. It's been a while since I've done a story from a girl's perspective, and it was so much easier. This episode was published a while ago, before A Place to Belong. But there were quite a few people who read A Place to Belong without having read this episode, who wrote in speculating the reason why his hair could be a little long. It made me really happy as a creator. I was happy yet nervous that people do notice the little details. And that was with the hair cutting thing in episode 5, so awesome. Nice. Then we have this really cool 2-page spread that has Matoba and Notori on it, which I thought was interesting. The one with Matoba having the butterflies and then the 2 arrows that we saw back in the 1 spread. In the 9th volume, I focused on herds and groups, like the Fuzzballs, the clan of Simian Masks, Matoba and his people, Natsume and his pals, etc. Groups can be greatly helpful or a huge nuisance. Since Natsume likes to be a loner, I challenged him with things he'd prefer to avoid. He sees the nuisance and the risks associated with relying on others, but I hope that these experiences will open his eyes and allow him to grow. And then maybe he and Nyanko-sensei can be more honest with how they feel towards each other. Yes! Give us that Natsume and Madara conversation, please. I'm 100% here for that. Absolutely. And then with the one with Notori, I really like this one. I also like how his fan kind of covers up the butterfly that surrounds Matoba. That's really interesting. I enjoyed drawing a bit about Matoba. He has several titles. He's the organizer of the Assembly of Exorcists, so he's called the chairman during meetings. He's the young head of the family from a regular human perspective, and he's known as the leader of his clan to the yokai. Natsume has been more relaxed lately, so it's very fun to draw. Oh, let me get this right. So it's very fun to draw something tense like this once in a while. Yeah, episodes 1 and 2 of season 4 were extremely tense. I'd like to write thoroughly about exorcists sometime when I have the opportunity. Oh, that gives me so much hope because we still have seasons 5, 6, and 7. That gives me so much hope. Seeing Matoba and Notori side by side here, they're clearly eccentrics. I'm relieved that Natsume seems normal by comparison. Yeah, Natsume is very, very, very vanilla in comparison to those two. Then the last page says, Natsume's Book of Friends has reached 9 volumes. I'm savoring the experience and joys of developing characters over such a long period of time. I'm sure the people who have known me from my previous titles are amazed I've received love and support from so many people. I'm extremely grateful to everyone, including new readers and people who have become fans through the lovingly created anime. I'll keep drawing each episode with care. Thank you again, from Midori Kawayuki. All right. Cool. So that only took 25 minutes to talk about. But I really enjoyed Volume 9. It was really cool reading back through season 4, episodes 1, 2, 3, and 5. It was really cool to get a good start and just dive into the content of season 4. I'm very curious now if those 5 episodes of season 3 were all anime only. I guess we'll find out. And then maybe we'll pick back up and see if episode 4 was anime only or if it ties in with the rest of the manga. So far, the manga has kind of gone out of order with the anime, so I won't be surprised, but I'll be very curious to see moving forward what we get. But in any case, I'm really excited to dive into this OVA and see what we get as far as it goes. Because I'm super excited about that. So let me plug this in. But thank you all so much for your support and your kindness. I really appreciate it. I'm super excited to dive into this OVA and see what we get. I hope you all are as well. It's our first of 2 to get out before we dive into season 5. So with that being said, we are going to not waste any more time. We're going to dive into this OVA, Nyanko Sensei and the First Errand. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. This is published in 2016, which feels recent but still so far away. What is this? Nyanko always ends up with these little kids, which is super cute. You're gonna walk this cat. Oh, Natsume with his hair a little bit longer. Really? It's hair! Hair! A winter coat! Oh, the dragonfly. Why does he go after it every time? The simplest things. The First Errand. Interesting. I don't know how I feel about the cat butthole. I don't know how I feel about that. Oh, did these kids study from the Taki school of snuggling Madara? Oh, a raccoon! And the girl chewing on the doll. Oh, that's cute. No! They're not convinced. You've already thrown out the baby with the bathwater. Uh-huh. Aww. Oh no! Oh, why is she crying? Oh my god, they're little kids. Oh shit. Can they see yokai? Oh. Oh no no! Nyanko-sensei, do not leave those kids. Oh no. Children of men are such a pain. Oh. But we're not going to show the kids that. Oh. Well. Ah! No! I give up! Yeah, these kids. Oh no. Ah! He's like, I'm not fat. Oh. Mitsu? What? Oh. Oh. Son of a bitch. Damn it. Ah! Madara's like, ah, damn it. The fact they can sense yokai is interesting. Oh. Oh, don't mind us, just walking around. Aha! Oh, Nishimura, you play, are you? Nyan Nyan Sensei is adorable. What, is he missing or something? Let's put together a search party. Aww. Nice turtleneck, Kishimoto. Well, they've given up on you. You're fine. Oh, shit. Where'd the kids go? Oh my god, no! No! Oh no, not her hat. Ah! He's like, please let me go. Oh my god! He's like, stop it, children! I'll get it for you. Ah! That's so cute. What a lovely day! Oh. And is she looking? But are they especially like Natsume? Oh my god. Yeah, where's this Mitsu monster? Is it Mitsuru? Why is the second thing he's saying so weird? Oh my god! They keep repeating that same thing. What? What? He's like, this is how it is. I'm dealing with this bullshit. Help me out. And why is he saying things wrong the second time around? It feels like a repetition. Is this all a dream? Okay, so in a way. Madara's like, I have had enough of all of this. Meanwhile, oh, there's Hiragi. Sticking that phallic symbol in your mouth, eh, Notori? You're not beating any allegations, are we, Notori? Are you surprised he likes those things, Hiragi? You shouldn't be. That's not how I want to take that phrase. Oh, that's the candy bar. She's like, I'm not even going to touch this one. Ah! What is this time loop? Oh my god. Well, 5-year-olds do like repetition. Oh my god. What is this repetition? Oh my god. Madara's gonna go crazy. He's gonna go crazy. Oh! Oh my god. Madara being made to suffer, y'all. Madara being made to suffer. My back! My back! My middle-aged woes! Oh! Hey, boyfriend, how you doing? Want to go for a walk with me? Oh, even better. Want to go for a walk by ourselves? Hold hands, make out? Oh, sure. Oh my. Ha 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 ha! And then they made out the rest of the episode. Madara's endless woes. Oh my god. Oh my god, but why? No! She just fell off. Man, the time loop of this episode. Ah! Ah! Oh my god. These children. Madara's gonna die. This is the end. We're not gonna see him in season 5 because he's not gonna make it. These kids the kids playing with the paper sack is so understandable. Oh, hey, cat thing. He's like, I hate you. She's like, well, can I not move? What a bunch of bitches. Ah! What's with the kids? Adopting? Everybody thinking it's a snack is hilarious. Ah. Yeah, what's going on? Can they see all of them? We just told you. Oh. Oh, okay. Really? Oh, she's like, I'm gonna kill you. I give you the worst advice for saying that. They can see that. Oh, but they can't see her. Oh. Interesting. Ah! Yes! It's weird! That's exactly what they would do! Oh my god. This is why people don't like children, usually in movies and stuff. They're gonna... Oh. Oh. She's gonna get out. He's like, what do you mean? Oh, Mitsumori. Not Mitsu Monster. Oh, hey. And they're wearing their same clothes from season 4. This is our filler outfit. Man, the product placement of this Choco Bar is quite interesting. They're like Pringles. Huh. I've never stuck one of those phallic symbols in my mouth, you see. Are you enabling this, Sasada? Are you an enabler? Are you giving him gateway drugs, Sonata? Is this gonna be your fault? Oh, if Taki had saw Nyanko-sensei, she would have been the first to let you know. The ugly thing. I mean. Is it going to be Natsume or Notori or son of a bitch? Oh my god. Are we doing third time's a charm? Oh my god. Oh. Yeah. What are you talking about? Oh my god. Oh my god. Don't shake that tail around, Madara. Ah! Oh. Oh. Oh, man, the shade thrown at Madara this episode. The shade. Oh, and they can't see him either. Stuff it! He's like, I hate everything. What does that even mean? Oh my god. Oh my god. It's like play on words and the puns. Oh my god. If he had that bar the entire time. Yep, there we go. Oh. Oh, why is this mom sending these 5-year-olds out to get food? I get teaching kids responsibility, but this is a bit extreme. These kids are babies. This is negligence. Hey! Don't run into the road! Oh my god. Do not let this become Frogger. Beep beep. Chobi! He's like, I didn't do any. He's tuxedo masks himself out. I didn't do anything. Oh. You're not negligent at all. I'm sure it did, kids. I'm sure it did. Madara's like, well, that was a waste of my day. Aww. I feel like Toko ascribes to the Orihime Spinning Leak Academy. Aww. Making Madara have more appreciation for the Fujiwaras is amazing. That's May's like, oh, look who it is. He's like, don't even ask about today. Don't even bother with today. Aww. Aww. Ooh. Is this going to be the ED for season 5? Perhaps. I don't know if I should be watching this so soon, if we're not even to season 5 yet, but it's probably okay. I love that the wheat field looks like butterfly wings. That's super cute. Aww. And Nishimura whacking Kishimoto with this cattail. Aww. And Tanama showing up. And Natsume looking over to Tanama. Love. And all the dragonflies. Oh, that's super pretty. I love that. I bet this is the ED for season 5. I love it. The sunset of it is interesting. Oh, is that Toko and Shigure? Oh. Ah! Is this a Sonic Says with Madara? Oh! 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 This seems like a preview. Oh! 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 Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, shit! Okay! Oh, is this a preview for season 5? Oh! Oh! What is happening? Oh, okay. So that might have just been, I tried not to pay too much attention to that because it seemed like it might have been a preview for the entirety of season 5. Or hopefully not season 6. Yeah, so we might as well just talk about this OVA, right? Well, we're just gonna ignore that last preview. As soon as I was like, oh shit, this seems like it could be stuff from season 5, I just started ignoring. So I'm gonna block that out of my mind. All I know is that Natori and Matoba might be present in season 5. So are we surprised by that? No. But I honestly don't want to know anything about that preview. We're just gonna pretend it didn't happen. Because we still have an OVA to watch next week that is not related to season 5, so we'll tie back into that. But oh my gosh! So I'm not gonna lie, this OVA was just filler. I'm glad that I saw it because if anything, it does reinforce the idea that Madara is softening up. Madara is softening up and growing more kosher with the Fujiwara family and more kosher with his life with Natsume, and is becoming a little bit more sentimental towards them, which is very interesting because the Madara of season 1 would not have put up with these children. The Madara of season 1 would have very much shoved these kids aside and ran away. But it is the end of season 4. And Madara is quite different. I really think, though, I was kind of let down a little bit by the OVA, only in the sense that with these kids, there were 2 things that were kind of like womp womp about the OVA in itself, and I would be remiss not to express them to you all. One is that the beginning of the OVA with the Mitsu monster, which after we saw Mitsumori's store, I was like, oh, they've got the name wrong because they're like 5, which we'll talk about in a second. But I really thought that there was a chance that these kids could see yokai. And I was like, oh, because, you know, even though it's rare and Natsume is like the one that can see the yokai right out, whereas Taki can only see them under special circumstances and Tanuma can only sense their presence but can't see them clearly. I really thought it would have been a cool concept for these kids to be able to see yokai and for it to reveal that, yeah, there are others like the exorcists and whatever. Like, even if these kids were part of an exorcist clan, I thought that would have been a cool kind of concept they could have expanded upon, like with Nanase growing up, kind of like Natsume being able to see yokai. I thought that would have been cool. That's not what ends up happening. We see that they see the phenomena of the yokai happening around, like when Hinaway gathers the leaves. Honestly, though, the part where the kid jumps in the circle is such a kid thing to do. They definitely nailed the repetition and the curiosity and the troublemaking that little kids get into. I used to substitute teach for like 5 years, and I substitute taught all grades, like kindergarten through 12th grade, and I loved 5th grade up. 5th grade up was my jam because I like talking to kids. I love talking to young adults. I love having conversations. Anything below 5th grade, especially kindergarten and 1st grade, Romania is not cut out for that because there's a lot of repetition, a lot of innocent chaos, and it's innocent. It's not mean or harmful, but it's just chaotic, and kids just, they're still learning, and I was like, I am not the one to teach you, and it was a lot. It was a lot. And this OVA was bringing like helicopter flashbacks. I was just like, I could hear the helicopter blades in the distance. I was like, oh no, these kids, especially when he jumped on to Hinaway's fortune telling, I was like, no, that's pretty accurate. But one thing I really appreciated about this OVA is that they nailed down the kids and like how like adorable, innocent, chaotic, and sometimes annoying they can be. And Madara dealt with it all in stride. And I was like, okay. But I was really expecting that maybe the kids had a tie to some yokai. That could have been a cool concept, and maybe tied them in with a exorcist clan that we would see later on in the series. I thought that could have been a cool tie-in, but it is what it is. The other thing that I definitely think was a slight disappointment is that every time they kept reusing the footage of the kid with the Digimon, it reminded me of Digimon where he's like, who are you? And then the girl cried. Like, they kept reusing that over and over again. And it didn't quite make sense, because if they were able to see yokai, it would have made sense. Every time they encounter a new yokai, they're like, who are you? Then it would have made sense. But every time they did that and it cut back to Madara, the yokai wasn't visible. So it's like, okay, they can't see the yokai. So then why are they doing that? Because they know who Madara is. Unless they're sensing a presence and they don't understand it. But that wasn't made clear. It just felt like it was kind of cheap and they were reusing animation and stock footage over and over again. And it was like, even Madara's reaction was kind of reused, which was a little bit aggravating. But the comedy was there in Madara just not being able to handle working with these kids and doing his best to protect the children, which was really funny. It was good to see Nishimura and Kishimoto. That part was nice to see them. And for Natsume, also something that is kind of good about this OVA is Natsume acknowledging that he doesn't need to be glued to the hip to Madara, that Madara can go off and it be fine. Because again, seasons 1 through 3, Natsume would have been like, I have to find Madara. I have to find Nyanko Sensei. I can't function without him. And to an extent. And here, Natsume's like, he'll come back. It'll be fine. And that reliance on the fact that he's going to come back shows some growth with Natsume's character too. Also, I wish we could have got more with him and Tanama walking around. That would have been really funny. Man, but this whole entire episode was also a product placement for this Pikurin Choco Bar. It was very much a product placement for it. Also, show you are not beating allegations. Having Notori come out with the damn phallic-shaped chocolate bar in his mouth and Hiragi like, didn't know you had those in your mouth all the time. You're not fooling anyone, show. You're not fooling anyone. He just showed up. He showed up as like the cameo. He is like Oikawa in Haikyuu. The moment he shows up, I'm like, and I feel like that's all done intentionally. But them after this damn chocolate bar, the product placement, I would not be surprised if the chocolate bars company sponsored this entire OVA. Would not be surprised. But it was nice to see the yokai. It was nice to see Hinoue and them interacting with Madara. That was super fun. I like that I'm officially going to dub Taki and Sasada in their filler outfits. Because that seems to be the case. But I do like that connection from season 4 to this. I like that tie-in. That's really nice. And the fact that it's getting... Also, the fact that Notori had the chocolate bar in his mouth and Natsume's like, never had one of these. See what you're doing there, show. You can't pull the wool over our eyes. And then they managed to go... I like that we got Chobi, our little mustached yokai, brought in here. It felt like we were reevaluating and going through places we've been around in season 4, which was nice. I liked that tie-in. And the little kids were super cute. They did remind me of why I don't necessarily want a lot of little kids in anime sometimes, because they can be annoying. Also, I don't know. Did the mom send the kids out to meet her at the grocery store? Did she give them the grocery list and they wandered off and then she refound them at the grocery store? I don't know. This mom, I am a little questionable in the fact that she let these two kids wander off, but maybe they just wandered off and she didn't realize it. We'll give her the benefit of the doubt. But I was like, I love Madara as he looks through the grocery store like, good. Good. Glad you're out of here. Get out. That was great. That was wonderful. But yeah, and then him seeing Toko. Again, I will link Toko and Orihime as the leak spinning school of adorableness. But I like that. I think my favorite part of the whole OVA, honestly, was Madara seeing Toko walking up to her and doing like a cat and just nudging up against her like, please, Toko, you're so kind. Take me away from these children. I love it. I thought that was so sweet. And then Natsume seeing him come back being like, all right, welcome back. Super cute. And then if that's the ED for season 5, I'm here for it. I'm super here for it. But I'm not going to go back through that preview. I don't want any previews, but we're going to see. I thought for a second it was going to be like Madara's version of Sonic Says. There was a Sonic the Hedgehog Saturday morning cartoon show when I was a kid that did kind of like Sailor Moon Says, where it was like 90s were all about PSAs, about like, don't do drugs, don't talk to strangers, don't do stupid shit. Like that was basically all those PSAs. And for a second, I thought this was like Madara's PSA, but it would be like the most hilarious satire of it where he's like, don't be around kids. And him not offering any good advice at all. I thought that's where we were going. And I thought that was absolutely hilarious. But what can we do? So anyway, I'm not going to look at that preview again. We've still got one more OVA. And I like going in blind. So I'm going to let my mind cleanse itself from that. Forget what I just saw. I try not to pay attention because I want to be surprised. So we've got another OVA that's coming next week, and I'm going to be talking about volume 10 of the manga, which I'm super excited about. This OVA was fine. It was good. It was good for a laugh. It was good for a chuckle. I always, if I'm feeling down in the dumps, Natsume is my go-to to feel better. So I trust in Natsume for delivering on that content. And he did. Nyako-sensei did deliver this week, but I definitely think it was definitely a filler OVA, but I'm a completionist, so I'm glad I saw it. But I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. Did you like this OVA? Do you think that Nyako-sensei deserves a vacation after dealing with these small children? I don't want to know anything about season 5 yet, but next week we are going to be looking at a second OVA, and it is one that you cannot find on streaming services. So thanks to Sunspots, though, an avid patron, they've gotten me hooked up with it, so it should be good. Anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more of Natsume's Book of Friends. Bye!